2023, the capital gains tax was 5%. Now, when the 2023 Finance Act was passed, legally, once the Finance Act 2023 was thrown out, then we should have reverted to 5% as the value of the capital gains tax. So how is capital gains tax computed? If I bought a property at 10 million, I sell it at 5 million, at 15 million, sorry, the difference is 5 million. 5% or 15%, depending on now how the taxman is going to look at it, is going to be returned as capital gains tax. So it's gain tax on the gain. So that is with regards to capital gains tax. So as we all know that when there is a loophole, or rather when there is a gray area in law, the government will always interpret it to its favor so that it can collect as much as possible. But as I said, once the 2023 Act was thrown out with the Court of Appeal, what that meant was you're going back to the 5%. But then with the appeal by the government to the Supreme Court, we're waiting to see how that pans out. With regards to purchase of property, when a subsidiary buys a property, let's say it bought a property from an LLC, and an LLC is a limited company that in Kenya we call them LTD. So LLC is a term that I've seen mostly outside our jurisdiction. So, but it still means the same thing, limited liability company. In the event you are buying a property here in Kenya, it does not matter how remote the property is in terms of, in this case by remote, I mean the subsidiary being under a holding company. It doesn't matter how remote that company is from the holding company. At the end of the day, the name on the title is the owner of that particular property. Anything that is not on a land's register, then it means it illegally exists, because it means there was no duty paid for it. When you take a facility, there is stamp duty paid, or duty, or a tax, for lack of a better word, paid for that particular loan. So if it does not exist on a such report on of our property, then it means it does not legally exist, because the way the law is structured is that a facility needs to be registered against the title. And once it's registered against the title, then one of the completion documents, by completion document I mean one of the documents you're going to use as transfer documents, is what we regarded as a discharge of charge, showing that this property had a facility and the facility has been redeemed, and that discharge of charge is going to be registered together with the transfer, so that by the time you're getting the title, it's supposed to be free from encumbrance. And if at all the charge, and in this case, by the word charge, I mean the loan is registered against the title, then the lands registry cannot transfer that property until the bank consents. So if at all that transfer happened, that transfer has a lot of illegal issues going on around it, because if a transfer happens and that property is encumbered without the bank, without any party, without the purchaser knowing, and the seller not disclosing, and the registrar actually endorsing their stamp and saying that that title is duly registered, there is a problem with that transaction, and you should seek legal counsel for that.
Okay, thank you for that. Nashon, you can answer that question about how to save when building, save on materials and time on building, as well as the one who was talking about they did their due diligence only to realize the property was charged and now they're facing auction.
Thanks, Claire. Now, look, if you're going to save money, cost management is part of what we endeavor to do as project managers. You're going to save it at design stage. Projects fail in design, projects don't fail in construction.
There's no limit.
So if you're going to have a window of building within budget and having a lean construction of every aspect of that construction, if you borrowed, if you want to build at 5 million, 10 million, you're there to it. Design stage is a part you do that. Fortunately, most people do not take that seriously. You get quack consultants, shortcuts. I know someone is cheaper. It's a very common thing in this sector. You go for the cheapest that you can get. you'll pay for it, definitely. The experienced consultants, please leverage on the experienced consultants. You're going to pay slightly more, but trust me, you're going to give you lean designs, lean construction, professionally done in design stage, that when you begin to do construction, you just execute. So for me, pay attention to design stage, pay attention to the drawings. Do not resist the desire to design during constructions. When you begin to design during construction, trust me, as sure as the sun rises tomorrow, you will get variations. You're going to go over budget and over time. Design stage. If you ground break, freeze design work and implement. On the question that I was asked about people who do diligence, I mean, it's something that I've written about so much. And look, what I would say is we need to regulate developers. I think we've regulated everyone in the built environment except the person that pays everyone. And that is a problem we have. It's too easy for someone to wake up tomorrow with a render, pay 150,000 on a billboard and sell houses to Kenyans. We need to do something about it as a country. We can't keep crying all through. We need to have something like the real estate authority. India has a gold medal. Dubai has a fantastic model on real estate regulatory agency. We need something similar like that, so that there's some cushion we give to our people that want to buy things off plan, for example. And not just that. I think we need to have regulations that require developers on off plan to open and maintain escrow accounts, for example. Okay, we need to put, like, for regulation, for example, that no project can be sold off plan until it is 20% complete, or even the fact that if a developer, for whatever reason, fails to start a project within a certain period, then they are forced to refund money to buyers, or you cannot sell a property until you have all the approvals off plan. We need some regulations in this area that will cushion Kenyans. A lot of the times, for what that question, there are so many projects like that. There are so many projects that are fighting within the developer bank and the buyers. And I know what Wakili has said is ideal. Trust me, I've been on projects where that money will be borrowed towards the end of the project. That is always the thing. They hold it towards the end. It's collusion with bank, and they're so evil that they'll borrow more than the balance money that they owed from the buyers. So there's always, if each buyer pays, there's still some debt, and you have this mother title that was used as security. That is the problem we have a lot of things. And for me, I think the government must protect its citizens, however careless that citizen may be. I think so. And in real estate and constructions, it's our innate, it's inherent that Kenyans are very gullible in real estate sector. I think we need to have some regulations to cushion people. Unfortunately, for that person who has that question, the only way is to negotiate with the bank. If the title is charged and there's a money owed, I think as buyers who bought, I think you need to sit down with the bank and negotiate. I know you could pursue the developer. They always don't care. They'll drag it for 10, 15 years. Your house you go. So negotiate with the bank. But for those who want to buy, these are the pitfalls. These are the portals that really you must avoid. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that. Yeah, it's quite important to try to save at the design stage rather than trying to look at it from later. And I think what's coming out is the importance of getting professionals from the get-go so that you're not crying at the end of the project. There are so many requests to speak that we are time bad. We'll hold another session like this soon where we can discuss more, but this has been quite informative. And in case you've missed anything, because I'm seeing some of the questions have already been tackled by the experts, you can listen to the replay, which will be on the Citizen TV Kenya timeline and on my timeline as well, at Claire Dudieu, Dudieu after this, and you will get all the answers there. As I said, this is a very wide topic, and we will organize another space like this soon so that you can ask your questions. But this has been quite informative, so I'd like to thank Nashon and Hansen for their expert comments and views on this topic of buying land and property. And I will want to close this space right now, and we will see each other next week, same place, same time, 7 p.m. for another exciting edition of Citizen Digital X Spaces, Tuesday, 7 p.m. Have a good evening, and thank you to our listeners as well for tuning in.